Anyway, now it's time to join Charles Tarbey, Chairman and owner of Century 21. As usual, he's got the latest stats from around the country to see what's happening. Good to see you as always, Charles.
Thank you, Chris.
Wonderful. Well, let's jump into the national auction clearance rates.
Yeah, still a reasonable week right across the country. It was 70.5%. If you look at the national statistic, but this time last year was 77.8%. So it is down, and the agents will tell you they're working a damn sight harder, and about time, because it's the agents that know what they're doing that really flourish in a good marketplace that we're in. Now, the top of the tree was not Sydney or Melbourne, interestingly enough, although Sydney came in at 72, Melbourne at 71. Brisbane at 54, which I was very pleased to see. Adelaide at 72.9, but wait for it, Canberra, 87% clearance rate.
That Canberra always jumps up once in a while, doesn't it, Charles?
Yes, it does. It has been doing it a lot lately, yeah, for sure.
And how are we doing with homes advertised for sale? Yeah,
we've had a good run. We've had a couple of weeks in a row now where we've had an increase in stock, a welcomed increase in stock, 0.28%. Not a lot, of course, Chris, but still 2 weeks in a row we've had that climb. I was speaking to one of our guys from Linfield, Jason Roach, who said he's listed 5 new properties this week, sold 2 on the weekend. Now, in that area, that's a pretty strong movement of stock coming onto the market. So there are certainly pockets that are doing better than others.
And again, it's definitely the pockets, because we're finding with our buyers agency that suddenly some of the agents aren't as confident now, and they're definitely keener. If they've got a guaranteed deal before auction, they're much more likely to take it at the moment. Would that be true in a lot of places?
Yes. And again, I like that kind of market. You know my line. 2 types of markets. One where you get the buyer up to meet the vendor's ridiculously high price, boom. The other where you get the vendor down to meet what they think is the purchaser's ridiculously low offer. That's called real estate. That's what we're in 90% of the time, and it's good to come back into a tough marketplace.
And again, this is when people will really realise how well they've bought in the years before, because in a good market, pretty much everything sells, doesn't it? Whereas in this market, maybe the stuff on the main roads without the parking, the bigger blocks, then that's where it's struggling. So if you have bought well in the early days, then yours is going to be ones that's maybe at the 100% clearance rates rather than the 50.
Yes, look, it's certainly back as I mentioned, in the real estate mode, and it's a place that I prefer to be, and I think most hardened practitioners prefer to be.
Sounds good. Well, let's have a look at the rent price movements.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It was a plus 0.24% this week, Chris. The interesting thing that I noticed with it is that the capital city that's had a lot of battles over the last year, Perth, it also had a climb of 0.24%. So it's good to see it on the way up. The star performer, there was actually Darwin. And so the Darwin market came in at 1.15% in terms of rent increase, followed by Hobart, which came in at 0.27. So all in all, been a reasonably good week for landlords this week across the country.
And again, good to see the figures there back to 2015 to see the trend from when we started this on the show.
It's really quite interesting, Chris.
And just finally there, the vacancy rates.
Yeah, the vacancy rates were again exceptional this week. Sydney came in at 1.48%. Melbourne, that's been a star performer for some time, the Melbourne market, so that came in at 1.07%. But again, the good news that we've been looking forward to seeing is the Perth market. And that particular marketplace, as you saw with the rent increases, also had a reduction down to 8.01% in vacancy rates, again from the high 10s. That gives us a 3.52% vacancy rate over those 3 capital cities. So congratulations to the Perth market, which I'm watching a lot of positive change starting to occur in.
Wonderful. Well, good to see you as always, Charles. Thanks for remembering every single one of those numbers for us.
Thank you,
We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back soon with Justin Dubov and News Corp's Tom Panos. You're watching Your Property Empire.